exactly what you meant. You meant to corrupt my Florence with this garment. You're a sinful woman.
Now, wait a minute, chump.
Sit down. And don't call my man a chump. Now, look here, chump.
We're moving on up to the east side. The iconic theme song of the Jeffersons, composed and sung by Jeanette Dubois, known for her role on Good Times, instantly brings back fond memories of this beloved Norman Lear sitcom that ran for 11 seasons. The show, like its predecessor, All in the Family, fearlessly tackled controversial topics such as alcoholism, racism, suicide, and transgender issues, cementing its place as one of the most influential and important sitcoms in television history. Today, we revisit the world of the Jeffersons and the unforgettable family that captured our hearts. Isabel Sanford as Louise Jefferson.
Well, there's nothing to be afraid of.
Oh, frankly, and I had such fun.
Louise Jefferson, affectionately known as Wheezy, shared some similarities with Edith Bunker from All in the Family as a kind-hearted and sensible woman with a hot-headed husband. Wheezy and George showcased that even with different personalities, a loving and lasting relationship could flourish. Isabel Sanford was the perfect choice for this role, hailing from Harlem herself. Her acting career took off with the 1967 film Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, drawing the attention of Hollywood heavyweight Norman Lear. Initially hesitant to commit to a weekly series, Sanford's bet on herself paid off handsomely as she earned 7 Emmy nominations, winning one and making history as the first African-American actress to win the lead actress category. After The Jeffersons, she had her own show titled Isabel's Honeymoon Hotel, but later appeared in touring productions, including The Real Life Jeffersons with Sherman Hemsley. She also made memorable appearances alongside Sherman in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and in advertising for Denny's and Old Navy. Tragically, Isabel Sanford passed away in 2004 after undergoing carotid artery surgery just a month shy of her 87th birthday. Sherman Hemsley as George Jefferson.
Well, you know, I'm not much of a talker.
I figured 7 years, but we went 11.
George Jefferson, the outspoken star who rose to fame through memorable face-offs with Archie Bunker, was a character who could make any situation riotously entertaining. Deep down, George was a hard-working individual who meant no harm. His actor, Sherman Hemsley, had his own journey of hard work, starting with dropping out of high school and serving in the Air Force before working for the post office during the day and pursuing acting in plays at night. His dedication led him to Broadway, where Norman Lear cast him as George Jefferson, a role he became iconic for. Hemsley's career extended beyond the Jeffersons, with notable appearances in Amen and voice work in Dinosaurs. He even released a single, Ain't That a Kick in the Head, in 1989, showcasing his talents as a jazz keyboardist. Sherman Hemsley continued to act throughout his life, often reprising his role as George Jefferson, with his final appearance in 2011 on House of Pain. Despite his public career, he led a very private and reclusive life, never marrying or having children. In 2012, Sherman Hemsley inducted into the Television Academy Hall of Fame, but sadly he passed away at that same year at the age of 74 in his home in El Paso, Texas. Marla Gibbs as Florence Johnston.
Where did she ever get a dumb idea like that?
Liddy was on the set all the time.
Florence, the beloved sassy and wisecracking maid of the house, was a character adored by all. Marla Gibbs' portrayal of Florence, who could put George in his place, earned her 5 Emmy nominations. Marla began her acting career in the early 70s and gained recognition with an episode of Barney Miller in 1975. Following the success of The Jeffersons, she starred in her own series, Checking In, but it didn't quite check out with the audience. Fortunately, she swiftly transitioned to another starring role in 227. Marla Gibbs remained active in the entertainment industry, reprising her role as Florence in 2019's Live in Front of a Studio Audience, and making appearances in recent shows like The Last OG. At 91 years old, she continues to shine, leaving no doubt that Marla Gibbs is a true OG of the industry. Mike and Damon Evans as Lionel Jefferson.
I don't know about that, Pop, but the dude is a real jazz freak, you know? I'm getting my own apartment.
My mother and I lived in an apartment.
Lionel Jefferson was the militant son who ultimately became close with Archie Bunker's son-in-law, Meathead. He's also completely unfazed by Archie and actually finds him amusing, being pretty wisecracking himself. Mike Evans first played the role of Lionel. Lucky for Mike, Norman Lear didn't get his first choice, Blazing Saddles' own Cleveland Little. Mike left the show after the first season because he wanted more screen time. But it was no worry for anyone, as Damon stepped in admirably. Mike was a busy man, being one of the creators and writers to the other ultra-successful Norman Lear vessel, Good Times. In later years, he was also a real estate investor and owned properties in California's Inland Empire. Sadly, Mike died of cancer in 2006 at just 57 years old. Damon Evans, the second Lionel, had no relation to Mike and is an accomplished singer and stage performer. However, his life was plagued by depression and drug use, revealing in 2019 that he turned to drugs to deal with the frustration of being on the show. He wanted to pursue opera singing. It got to the point where he considered taking his own life in 1997, but he managed to turn his life around, quitting drugs and actually going back to school to earn his bachelor's degree in psychology from Bronx Community College. Today he's 73 and hasn't acted since 2000 in an episode of Third Watch. Roxie Roker as Helen Willis.
Anything that affects Lionel is going to affect us.
Lionel, put those on. You look fly. Oh. Yeah.
Helen Willis, Louise's best friend, often clashed with George, particularly regarding her interracial marriage to Tom Willis. During casting, she confirmed her comfort with her character having a white husband by showing a photo of her real-life spouse, a white Jewish man. Roxie Roker's son is the renowned musician and actor Lenny Kravitz, who would visit the show's set. Her star power continues with her granddaughter Zoe Kravitz, a prominent actress. Roxie had minor roles following her time on The Jeffersons, with her final TV appearance in an episode of Hangin' with Mr. Cooper in 1993. She shared a lifelong friendship with Marla Gibbs and tragically passed away in 1995 at the age of 66 from breast cancer. Lenny Kravitz paid a beautiful tribute to her with the song Thinking of You, featuring a young photo of Roxie in the music video. Franklin Cover as Tom Willis.
Her contract stated that she had to drive me.
Tom Willis, portrayed by Franklin Cover, was Helen's husband and a target for many of George's jokes. However, their on-screen chemistry included friendly ribbing. A memorable episode involved Tom, Helen, and George getting trapped in George's bathroom. Cover's acting career began in 1960 with appearances on The Jackie Gleason Show in 1967. He found his breakthrough role as Tom Willis on The Jeffersons, providing a great foil to George. In subsequent years, he appeared on TV shows such as Who's the Boss in 1991. Cover's final acting role was in the Chris Farley comedy Almost Heroes in 1998. Sadly, he passed away in 2006 at the age of 77 due to complications from pneumonia. Berlinda Tolbert as Jenny Willis Jefferson.
Well, it proves that I love him. With that casting for the show. More.
Jenny Willis, the only daughter of Helen and Tom Willis, was introduced in All in the Family and became engaged to Lionel Jefferson, eventually marrying and having a daughter. Lynn Moody played Jenny Willis in the All in the Family episode Lionel's Engagement, but the role was later taken over by Berlinda Tolbert for the full series. Tolbert also had success in films, appearing in Eddie Murphy's Harlem Nights in 1989 and Martin Scorsese's Goodfellas the following year. At 73 years old, her last notable role was in a 2005 episode of the HBO series 6 Feet Under, and she's been married to journalist Bob Reed since 1979. Paul Benedict as Harry Bentley.
I'm sorry. Would you care for some tea?
It was a dark night except for the moon.
Harry Bentley, the Jeffersons' eccentric next-door neighbor and a UN interpreter, often clashed with George, but still maintained a kind-hearted nature. Portrayed by Paul Benedict, his distinctive physical features, including an oversized jaw and large nose, were partly attributed to acromegaly, a condition similar to that of Ted Cassidy from the Addams Family. Norman Lear cast Benedict as a Zen Buddhist in the satirical film Cold Turkey, marking the start of their productive working relationship. Benedict is perhaps best known for his role as the Mad Painter on Sesame Street. He made significant contributions to the mockumentary Waiting for Guffman, created by the Spinal Tap crew. His last film role was in Side by Each, and he passed away that same year at the age of 70 from natural causes. What a timeless classic. The Jeffersons is an enduring testament to the genius of Norman Lear and the talented cast who brought it to life. Their performances and the show's impactful themes have left an indelible mark on the history of television. As we've journeyed through the lives of the cast members, it's clear that their contributions extended far beyond the show. The Jeffersons was more than just a sitcom. It was a cultural milestone that entertained and educated us. What's your favorite episode from this classic show? Do you have fond memories of watching The Jeffersons with your family? Or perhaps you have a favorite character or moment from the show that still brings a smile to your face? Share your thoughts, memories, and any other classic TV shows you'd like us to explore in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this trip down memory lane and want more Then and Now content about iconic TV shows, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your fellow classic TV enthusiasts, and, of course, subscribe to our channel. Ring that notification bell so you never miss a moment of our journey through television history. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next Flashback.